Hey, welcome to Your Best Podcast with me, your best life coach, Teemaree. I'm so happy to have you here with me for this episode all about organizing your life. Organizing your life. We just had a great episode last week about balancing family and business. And, these are real things that we all go through, right? We want to have a work-life balance. We want to have a sense of peace around our schedule. We want to have the ability to spend time with our friends, our family, our spouses, with ourselves. Oh my gosh, we want to be able to spend time with ourselves and not feel guilty, So there's all kinds of things that are happening that are causing us to feel like my life is unorganized, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today, right? When it comes to organizing your life, what does that even look like? How can you do it? How do you know you need to do it? Is it really possible, or is it like an overwhelming wish? We're going to break it down. I'm going to break it down in this episode. We're going to explore these different options because organizing your life is something that is a powerful, wonderful, available option. It is an option. Of course, we start off with, what is possible? What is possible around organizing your life? And I think that's a really key thing to start off with, just because there may be some times where balancing your life is not possible. I know you're like, what? This is Your Best Podcast. You're the best life coach. And so what do you mean? And it's just, I always tell you that I keep it 100% authentic with you, okay? As your best life coach, as your success partner. And so listen, there are going to be some goals in life. There are going to be some seasons in life that maybe balance is impossible. I'm going to go ahead and outline a couple so that you can see where I'm going with this, okay? So one of the times, let's say that, work-life balance or organizing your life in a very compartmentalized way, in a very balanced feeling way. One of the times that might not be possible is if there is an all-encompassing goal that you're working on. Like an all-encompassing goal that you're working on. For example, I have had a couple of clients, okay? One of my clients many, many years ago was actually a medical school student, right? So in her case, her goal at that time was all encompassing. It was like medical school meant all in, deep study, long hours, residencies, things that required schedule all over the place due to classes and commitments that were associated with the studies. So in this particular case, for that period of time, at least while she was in school, right? So while she was in school every year, because there's times in school and times you're off, right? That's an all-encompassing goal. So organizing and balance is really around that one thing, right? Then there's more breathing room when she was off. So sometimes there are seasons in life where there's an all-encompassing, you have to be all in for that particular thing. Another example is we've had the Olympics recently. We've had the Summer Olympics recently. And the Winter Olympics, are going off. So an Olympian, most of their time is a very all-encompassing, all-in goal. And that's a really long, extended goal that they're holding of I'm going to really be training full-time job hours in training. And then the rest of the time, it's okay, there's recovery. And then there are meets and there are things to do to qualify to continue the trajectory toward this goal of being an Olympian. So sometimes there is something in life where it's an all-encompassing thing. So the thought of I'm going to have balance here, it is necessary and it is possible, but it's not going to look like what most of us can achieve. Most of us that are not with an all-encompassing, round the clock season of our life, we're going to be able to organize our life in a really wonderful, balanced way. And maybe have short spurts of time where maybe an all-in goal means, okay, now we got to super focus, streamline. But most of the time it's a very wonderful opportunity for balance and organization that really feels even in all the sectors of life. So I want to make that clear just because, if you are someone who you're like, really, you have an all-in situation going on right now. So you're like, how can I organize my life? You can organize your life and you can have balance, but you need to have a different perspective around what that balance is going to look like for you in your particular situation, because you are in an extraordinary situation. For the rest of you, for the rest of us, when we are not in an all-in situation, balance and no matter what, organization in our lives is so important. So, it's important to be very, very transparent about that. And the takeaway is this: organizing your life, no matter what is happening, is possible, and having balance, no matter what is happening, is possible. But what that looks like and how that translates is not going to always be that exact balance of the two sides of the scale being exactly even, especially if you have an all-in goal. And so I really, really want to be 100% transparent about that, because that allows us to begin a level of acceptance and a level of clarity around what we are even looking for and if it's on the table for us in that particular season of life. Okay, so we go into this and it's really an exciting thing of organizing your life and what is possible. So I'll tell you something. It is possible to have a good amount of time for rest and rejuvenation, a good amount of time for work and production and effort, a good amount of time for self-development and personal growth and fulfillment of self. Like really where that's the zone where you're feeling happy with life because you feel fulfilled in your experience. There is a possibility to have the organization allow you to experience the different sectors of life in a way that does feel balanced, meaning instead of feeling like all you do is work, and you don't really get enough rest, and you don't really get enough play, and you don't really get enough quality time for yourself or with your loved ones. It is possible to feel like I'm satisfied at work. You're satisfied at work, and that you do have those other sectors of life being fulfilled. So it is possible. It is possible to have that. And I want to give you hope, and I want to give you an awakening there, especially if you've been really stressed, if you've been really burning the candle at both ends, if you've been really overwhelmed with, first of all, can you organize your life? Second of all, what does that even look like? Third of all, like is work-life balance or is organization of my life just a fantasy? I have clients wondering that all the time. I had a health coaching client who was just so convinced at the time that it was going to be too difficult to be healthy and be as productive in her business as she needed and wanted to be. She was also a mother of a young daughter. And so she really felt like this is a dream. It's impossible to have all that. And I'm here to tell you it is not. With organization, you can have success and fulfillment in each sector of your life. Will you need to change your perception or your perspective or your expectation depending on what you're working on? Sometimes maybe. Sometimes maybe, because if it's an all-in goal, that balance and that organization isn't going to look like what most of us get to experience, where it's every sector kind of even keeled. So definitely diving into organizing your life and what is possible. So it's actually pretty simple, but it's not easy. So if you heard that and you just started to just get stressed, don't worry. I'm not saying it's simple, like you should have it figured out already. I am saying though that there are simple things to do. And so hopefully that gives you hope that it's not going to be this overwhelming, monumental task to organize your life. And that's important because oftentimes with clients and even in my own life, when I've had those high stress moments, what ends up happening is that the thought of organization in itself becomes overwhelming and too monumentous. And so it's just like, I already have a lot of things going on and forget about it. I got to keep moving. So if that's your feeling, then understand and know that that's not the case. Look, there are simple things to do to organize your life. There are simple things to do. Okay. So I want to give a few of the things that you can do to organize your life so that you can begin this process and, and decide to come to me ready when you're ready to just turbo boost the whole experience. Now, firstly, the first step to organizing your life is developing a list of true priorities. What are you up to right now? Like, what are you up to? There are things that you do and things that you're up to. And so even being clear on that is very key. So what are you up to? What are the goals of this season of your life? What is the desire for this season of your life? That's step one in organizing your life, because most of the time, a big part of being disorganized in our lives is taking on things we don't need to take on, and or caring about things that we don't need to be caring about. We don't need to care about everything. And woohoo! that is really freeing. It's really freeing. Okay. It's really great to not feel like you have to care about everything. And I don't mean becoming an uncaring person, but for example, if you're doing great work at your job or in your career or for your business, that is phenomenal. It's a great character trait to have. Most often though, people who do great work find themselves in a trap of doing more work than they actually should. Now, I'm not talking about lowering your standard of excellence. Be an excellent person. Continue being an excellent person. But sometimes the line needs to be drawn. Clarity needs to be had around how much you need to care and take on, because that's where disorganization can start. So being clear about what is this season of life for, what am I up to right now, is the start of starting to identify maybe, are you taking on too much? Are there things you can let go of? And what is really important to you right now? And then the picture starts to get painted around what you want to accept in terms of what you're going to allow to take your time, where you're going to focus your energy, and organization starts to take shape. And it's fantastic. It's fantastic and really freeing. So there are simple things to do, but it's not always easy. It requires that introspection. It requires a moment, a pause to really review. And sometimes it requires some help from your best life coach to be able to navigate some of those questions. Because sometimes it was great. Like in the last episode, we joked about, some simple household tasks that we can become so attached to. And we become attached to the way they get done, to us being the people to do them for many reasons. And then it could be that simple. So coaching can help navigate those emotions, navigate and get clarity around that. Because organizing your life is possible, but what are you up to? And sometimes, even though it's simple, but it's not always easy. So I definitely want to help you out with understanding that and the nuances in that, because it is really key. So as you consider organizing your life, you say, okay, well, what am I up to? What is important to me? Then you start to see from that perspective and start to answer those questions from that perspective. And that should give some idea of things you can let go, things you're taking on that you don't need to take on, opportunities to, relieve some of the pressures, the demands on the schedule, or gain a new perspective. If this is an all-in goal, okay, this is an all-in goal. I can't really relieve, you might find you can't really relieve any of the tasks toward that goal. But where can you infuse organization in maybe other areas of life to make it smoother, to feel more rewarded, to feel more balanced? So simple things, not always easy, but there is hope. There is hope, and it is possible. So, there's managing the changes. Okay. So like with the client that I had given you that example, with both of the clients that I had given you an example, because we started off this particular episode with, my medical student client. So my medical student client, hers was an all-in goal. Medical school is not something that is negotiable. She's going to do this. This is what she is up to. So when she's in school, she's all in. So for her, it was about organizing the time in school to be able to then find pockets for self-care and for, the maximization of her efforts in school and as much care as could be had of herself and of her life and home, so that the focus could be on school while school's in session. Then it came tweaking of the schedule time, tweaking of the organization of lifetime, where now school's out. So we get to, in that particular case, all in goal case, we get to flip the script, so to speak, and we get to bring a lot of focus into fun, personal development, ease, relaxation, so that tank could be filled up as much as possible while school time is taking a rest. Organization helps to make that happen in life. It helps the focus happen. There's a plan, right? So that was how that happened for her. Now, I had that other client that I talked to you about that was my health coaching client that was convinced that managing her health, eating well, reducing some of the unhealthy habits, focusing more on her health while being so busy with her business and taking care of her young daughter was going to be too much, that it was not possible. But as we worked together, then we started to organize her life. Now we started with the thinking around it, right? There has to be an opening there. But then we moved into the actual organization of life. Like, okay, what and when? And in her case, okay, it was more of an organization for each sector of life to have its own highlighted time, attention, focus, so that she could start to build more healthy habits, reduce the unhealthy habits, and start to take that more seriously, while still focusing all she could with her business and spending time with her young daughter. So check this out. These are some of the things that we found with her. So as we worked on organizing her life, we found that she was doing things in her business that was causing the problem, meaning, running late, multitasking ineffectively, not being clear about her goals and what she expected from her employees and from her contractors. So those things were causing all these little fires that needed to be put out, all these extra phone calls, all this coming and going, all this rush and pressure and stress. And now, okay, I'm running late, so I'm eating bad. I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed, so I'm having a lot of sweets and etc. Right? So you see how it all works kind of hand in hand to be in chaos, but then also hand in hand to be smooth when organization comes through. So once we developed organization of her life, what was amazing was that now she started to see, okay, wait, I can be more effective in my business. And now because I'm more effective in my business, now I am also more relaxed around the health and putting focus into my health. And then now both of those things are feeling better. So then now I'm coming in a different way to my daughter. Whoa, it was fantastic. Woohoo! And so organization of life is exciting. Okay. If you are overwhelmed, if you're stressed, if you're feeling really disorganized in your life right now, it isn't exciting. Right now it's overwhelming. And you're not alone in feeling this way. But there is hope. There is hope. Okay. And this can be achieved no matter what, even if you're having an all-in goal. Okay. Even if you're in an all-in season of life, you can organize in such a way to where that can be as smooth an experience as possible. And then there can be a total, wonderful, balanced experience. Organization is key. So why this helps us is because then you're more effective, you are more peaceful, you are more calm, you are more clear, you are more able to honor the things that are important in your life, whether it be relationships or climbing the career ladder or taking better health steps, right? Or having more fun. So all of this becomes possible. It helps us to organize our life. Now, we don't ever go into conversations that talk about this. You know, it's very, I can't imagine a dinner party where you're going to go and say, is your life organized? Did you organize your life yet? Or, you know, at work, hey, you know, I know that report's due, but you really got to organize your life first. So why don't you take care of that first? Like, that's just not what's happening. But that's why, you know, just because that's not what's happening normally doesn't mean that it's not available to you as an option to take some power and to say, hey, this is a tool for me. And it gets really exciting. So if you're right now in a sense of overwhelm and stress, and it just doesn't feel like a fun thing to do, take heart. You have help here with me. I'm your best life coach. You're listening to your best podcast. You're getting this information. You have a lifeline to get help so that you can, you know, first of all, get clear about what you're up to. Then second of all, you can go ahead and get help processing the, you know, emotions around making some changes, get clarity, maybe get some strategy if that's what you need, some strategy around, okay, well, how can I balance all of this? Help me to see what I can't see. You know, I love to help my clients do this. So, you know, so many things open up as a result, right? But what do we want to look at? We want to look at these fundamentals. So you want to go ahead and take a look at your life and first assess, is it feeling chaotic? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling stretched thin? Are you feeling like there are aspects of life that you are not enjoying because you're either not able to engage in those aspects of life, or you simply are engaging in aspects of life that you don't want to or don't need to? You know, these are things to look at to begin. Then the question, what am I up to? What am I up to? What is the season of my life for? What am I doing here? And that's going to help to start to really allow for a priority list to begin to come to the surface. and to allow you to really see, hey, am I doing things that I don't need to be doing? And then we get into the true organization of what can be organized here. Okay, what can you organize? What, when, and where? And really developing now a practical way to go about this. And then finally, there's the consistency with it, right? Because if you lay that out and don't actually engage with it, if you could lay out a schedule all day, you could carry a planner all day, you could have alerts going off in your phone or emails reminding you all day. But if you do not engage and actually perform the tasks and honor the schedule and do what you say, you're just going to be disorganized with the plan. And now you're going to have two things going on where you're disorganized and you're feeling bad because you're not honoring yourself. And that is not what you need. That's not what you need and not what you want. And that's where your best life coach comes in and helps you out to make all those transitions smoother. No matter what, though, you now have a way to start. You now have a way to start. And I'd love to see you go for it and hear how it went for you. Now, first of all, I know that you're going to be subscribing to this show because you love having your best and you're in this to win this. So thank you so much for subscribing. And definitely thank you for following and contacting. Contact me, message me. You know, we're out here. We are out here. Your Best Podcast is out here. Okay? Facebook, Instagram, check it out, and then reach out to me. My name is Teemaree. I'm your best life coach. I'm at teemaree.com. And for coaching, I'm at bestlifecoaching.online. So definitely get started, get moving, get organized, honey, because it's there for you. And guess what? If you need help, it's all good. That means that you're smart, that you are powerful, and that you value your time and your money. So you're going to get help and you're going to just streamline this process. I'm here for you. All right. Organization is yours to have and it is your friend. So enjoy it and definitely come back and see me next week. I cannot wait to give you more of your best. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to subscribe and visit teemaree.com/free for more goodness.